what the Gini coefficient really tells us about wealth inequality. Imagine a world where a handful of people own more than half of everything. Then, picture millions struggling to survive on just a few dollars a day. How did we get here, and what does this vast wealth gap really mean for our society? Measuring inequality is a complex task. Are we talking about income, wealth, or access to opportunities? What about the impact of taxes and social services? And what even constitutes fair in an economic system? The Gini coefficient offers a way to quantify this complexity. It's a number between 0 and 1, where 0 represents perfect equality and 1 represents complete inequality. Each number tells a story about the economic systems, political choices, and social values that shape a nation. Let's start with the United States. We see incredible wealth concentrated in places like Wall Street and Silicon Valley, but also widespread poverty, food banks, and underfunded schools. The Gini coefficient in the U.S. hovers around 0.41, higher than most other developed countries. This reflects stagnant wages for many, coupled with skyrocketing wealth for the top 1%. Factors like rising healthcare costs, crippling education debt, and the decline of union power contribute to this inequality. The result is unequal economic growth and an eroding middle class. Now let's travel to South Africa. Here, the contrast between the gleaming Johannesburg skyline and the sprawling townships paints a stark picture. South Africa's Gini coefficient is over 0.63, making it one of the most unequal countries in the world. This is largely due to the legacy of apartheid, which systematically divided wealth along racial lines. High poverty rates, concentrated land ownership, and unequal access to education perpetuate this inequality. The historical injustices continue to shape economic outcomes for generations. Next, we'll examine Sweden and the Nordic countries. Here, you'll find robust social safety nets, universal healthcare, and high-quality education. Sweden's Gini coefficient is around 0.28 after taxes and transfers, significantly lower than the U.S. The Nordic model combines capitalism with strong social programs. Interestingly, market inequality before taxes is similar to the U.S. The key difference is government redistribution, which narrows the gap through progressive taxation and social services. Finally, let's look at Latin America. This region is rich in natural resources, yet struggles with high levels of inequality. We see bustling markets in Brazil, long food lines in Venezuela, and impoverished rural towns in Colombia. This paradox of wealth and poverty is a defining characteristic of the region. Weak institutions, corruption, regressive tax systems, and extractive industries contribute to this inequality. Even countries like Chile and Brazil, which made progress in the past, have seen that progress falter. The lesson is clear: long-term structural change is essential. Why should we care about inequality? Some argue that a rising tide lifts all boats, but the evidence suggests otherwise. Studies from the IMF and World Bank show that high levels of inequality actually slow long-term economic growth. This is because inequality reduces overall demand, increases debt, fuels political polarization, and undermines public goods. The idea that wealth will trickle down from the top has largely been disproven. Instead, investments in early education, healthcare, and affordable housing lead to greater productivity, innovation, and social stability. Inequality is a macroeconomic risk that affects everyone. What can we do to address wealth inequality? One solution is progressive taxation. This means taxing wealth, not just income. Wealth taxes, inheritance taxes, and higher taxes on capital gains can help redistribute resources and fund public services. These policies can help level the playing field and create a more equitable society. Another potential solution is universal basic income, UBI. This involves providing a regular, unconditional cash payment to all citizens. UBI has been tested in Finland and in parts of the United States. Proponents argue that it can reduce poverty, improve health outcomes, and provide economic security in an era of automation. Education reform is also crucial. This includes ensuring early access to high-quality education and investing in teachers. Education is a powerful tool for social mobility, By providing equal opportunities for all children, we can break the cycle of poverty and create a more skilled and productive workforce. Strengthening labor protections is another important step. This includes raising the minimum wage and restoring union power. Strong unions can bargain for better wages and benefits for workers. A higher minimum wage can help lift people out of poverty and boost consumer spending. Finally, we need greater financial transparency. This means closing tax loopholes and cracking down on offshore tax havens. These measures can help ensure that wealthy individuals and corporations pay their fair share of taxes. This revenue can then be used to fund public services and reduce inequality. These are proven tools that can reduce inequality and grow economies from the bottom up. The Gini coefficient is more than just a number. It tells a human story about opportunity, fairness, and the kind of society we want to live in. Society doesn't need to be perfectly equal to be fair, but when wealth pools at the top, it hurts everyone. It undermines economic growth, fuels social unrest, and erodes our shared values. Understanding inequality is the first step towards creating a more just and prosperous world. What solutions do you think would be most effective in closing the wealth gap? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a discussion about how we can build a more equitable future for all. Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more content on economics and social issues.